This podcast contains descriptions of extreme violence, body horror, and adult language. Please check the description for details. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello, welcome back. We are back at it with Heart of Hope, and surprising, I think all of us, we still have our special guest with us today, in the form of Fleecie.
I'm still in the rafters.
Yes. The rafters have not been vacated. Yes, it's a real problem, but it's cool because we like Fleecie.
They've been trying to bat at me with the broom every now and then, but I keep avoiding it.
Yeah, you know how important it is that you're here right now.
Yeah, no. This is going to be a tad difficult otherwise.
Right. Well, I won't dilly-dally any longer then. When last we left off, we were in a bit of a situation, a precarious situation, one might call it. Yeah, you are exactly where we left off. You are pretty much right at the bottom of the very same manhole ladder that you fell down after having your head quite dramatically removed from your body. I'm not going to ask you any of the, it makes sense that you absolutely would have closed the manhole behind you. You have a moment. You are currently in a position where Vex is able to walk due to her special leg upgrades, and she does have the dead body hoisted over her shoulder. Vex, all you have for any kind of feedback of the outside world is touch. And right now, all you can feel is the weight of the body on your shoulder, the sloshing of the liquid beneath your feet and around your ankles, and the hand, I assume, grabbing either the shoulder or the arm of Nixe. And somewhat... And in a change of pace I didn't expect, I am not going to be asking Vex what they would like to do. Nixe, what is going on inside your head right now?
Well, at least 50% of Nix's mind is just The other part is like fuck. But Nixe, just thinking on her feet, I guess, is just going to grab Vex's arm, kind of sort of push away any fabric or stuff, trying to find a part of her with, skin or something where she can feel, and she's going to write with her finger on Vex's arm. Can you feel this?
Vex, could you please make me a roll? Give it a +1 because this is currently your only sense that you have, so there's nothing distracting you. But give me a roll to see if you can actually make sense of what was just written on you. Oh, that is a 5. Lovely. That, unless you want to... It would have to make sense, but if you want to use a part in order to support that action, to bump it up to the 6 that you need, you can do, but otherwise...
let's see. I have some electricity in me, and sending signals and through the nerves and whatnot, meaning that maybe I can do some slight zapping to like really make sure, like, hey, pay attention to what I'm doing right now on you.
You know, I will allow that to work, because specifically for the situation. It makes sense that your manipulation of electricity and the fact that this is about, you know, feeling and nervous systems. I will allow that to succeed. Vex, you manage to... It's not perfect, but you manage to, like, initially register that she's writing something on me to try and communicate. And by the time you kind of start properly paying attention, you get THIS, so eel this, which you can only assume was something along the lines of, can you feel this?
Nixe, as you write on her arm, and particularly when you send the electric signals in, Vex's pulse that you can feel in her arm, like, quickens. Like, who knows what her blood pressure is right now, but her pulse, like, quickens and almost, like, fluctuates in response to your touch, to the point where you can almost see, like they're almost trying to burst out of her in response to your touch. Her veins just bulging in her arm, as though every cell of her body is just hypersensitive, and, like, you're not quite sure if she fully grasps exactly what you wrote, but she does, like, sort of squeeze her grip on your arm tighter in acknowledgement, and, like, seems to step a bit closer, like, with intent of some kind.
Okay. Basically, Nixe was hoping for the best outcome in Nix's mind would have been if basically Vex would have grabbed her arm and, written back on her or something like that. So, but because Nixe didn't get that answer, Nixe is assuming that, okay, it's not perfect communication. And she thinks further, and it seemed, because she noticed how Vex's body reacted when she sent out the signals. So now Nixe is considering if basically she's gonna use her, electricity powers to sort of see if she temporarily can boost Vex's sense of touch to a point where it gets, like, almost like superpower-ish.
Right. Okay, so I like this direction, but you knowing your history and also knowing the nature of both of your bodies, this doesn't strike me as something that you could just, like, do on the fly. This is very much a, like, desperation thing. So I'm gonna let you do this, but it's going to be at a -3.
Ooh, jeez.
Because you're essentially trying to instill Vex with a new biological ability out of nowhere. The only reason I'm letting this happen is for stuff that I cannot tell you. So
okay, so D10 -3.
Yes.
See, I think I wrote this correctly.
You did. As Vex, you feel Nixe kind of fluttering about you, to and fro, kind of going across different parts of your body, until eventually you feel this very nasty jolt in the base of your spine as electricity has just been pumped into it. You don't know for what purpose, but it is... it doesn't hurt you, but it is a nasty surprise, and you definitely felt that.
Yeah, I think Vex, like, is kind of already, like, very hypersensitive and, like, trying to get any kind of grasp on what's going on in this state, and when that happens, I think it just catches her so off guard. She, like, kind of comically windmills her arms and, like, falls backwards, to the ground.
Yeah, you watch as two corpses fucking slump to the ground in chaos.
oh shit, did I kill her permanently? Nix is freaking out. And she's like, she immediately just like kind of just grabbing Nix again, like carefully, just be like, no more zaps. And it's just trying to help her up on her feet again.
Yeah, Vex is still alright. For a moment you're worried, but she is still up, and it's at this point, because you haven't moved away from this manhole, that you hear and feel, to some extent, the unmistakable sound of the helicopter beginning to bring itself overhead of where this manhole is, and it becomes eminently clear to you immediately that you can no longer spend any time here in particular.
Then I'm going to grab Nix's me. I'm going to grab Vex. The nails are kind of close. Just kind of give a little squeeze and then start pulling her in the direction we came from at a hasty but not noisy pace.
All right. Yeah, somewhat unsummarily and with some level of haste that you can sense in the movements of Nixe, you are suddenly being pulled through what you can only assume is the sewers, Vex.
Well, as when she initially starts pulling, Vex somehow like still almost like driven by this final impulse she had, like at first resists the pull and grabs with her other arm onto the body that slumped down behind her, like clinging to it almost, and after a moment slings it over her shoulder again, very very shakily and unsteadily, but would then allow herself to be much more slowly pulled along at that point.
So, basically, what we are now doing is, because we have, as I've established, there is a presence in these sewers. Now, I initially kind of made it seem like it was a fairly straight shot to your location, and to some degree that was true. But there was twists and turns, there was places where you could maybe hide or take more circuitous routes to get to where you need to go. But there are sections where you are going to be unable to hide somewhere, and, you know, you're going to have to make choices. So, what this goes to say is that I have got a table that I'm going to be rolling on to kind of semi-randomly decide what comes up in terms of your choices for, like, you know, directions / problems that might happen. I will not show you the rolls, but I will be rolling them. Nixe. Mm-hmm. The very first thing that comes up is a fork in the road. Now, this isn't a matter of you trying to remember where you came from. You are plenty familiar with this place, which is why you have been able to lead Vex here in the first place. So this is more going to be a choice of whether or not you would like to take the route which you know is more direct, or the more complex and longer route, knowing that you will extend your journey. To put it in more plain terms, if you choose the left, you will have less journey to make, but you will have less places to hide. If you choose the right, you will have more places to hide, but more rolls to make.
Considering Vex's condition right now, and with the extra load, as much as Nix's instinct is screaming, hey, take the shorter route because you are fast, Vex is not. And so I think that Nixe is gonna make the choice of taking the longer route.
Alright. So, you take the long route. This was not the route that you came through. That much you know. Could you please make me a roll? And if you feel... this is essentially you keeping an eye on things, trying to hear ahead of you. So please, if you have anything that you feel will benefit you here, do let me know. Otherwise, give yourself just a +1 for the fact that this is essentially your stomping grounds.
+1.
All right.
Yeah! That's good. Yes!
So, the very first thing that you come across, and you hear it ahead of you, is a creature that you know frequents the underground. They aren't reptiles, they aren't rats. They're these strange amalgamations of both that have sort of arisen from the genetic slurry which has kind of inadvertently been pumped into the sewers in this city.
Reptiles.
Yes. Now, you know for a fact that these things are not threatening. They do not attack unless they are in huge numbers, and they are, essentially just trying to get people out of their den. But they are, for the most part, solitary creatures, which prevents that, and also means that they are quite skittish. The trouble with them is that if you are not careful around them, they are known to make a lot of noise. So, with that 10, you have been around these things plenty of times before, and even with the trouble of 2 stragglers with you, you know enough about their behavior that you are able to, in essence, kind of set Vex down for a second, go ahead and, kind of not startle the creature, because you know that would be bad, but instead make it very slowly aware of your presence, and then approach it in such a manner that it runs off in its own time, essentially.
It's like when you meet a cat when you're out for a walk. You just walk up to it and it's like, walks off.
Exactly. It just trots away into one of the crevices of this of the sewer, and you manage to make your way forward. Could you please make me a roll again for perception?
Indeed. Any pluses?
Just your normal +1 for knowing the ropes.
That's also good. That is also good.
Right. You come across a section of the sewers which there are parts which essentially lead down deeper into either subsurface levels, or which are taking things away into the processing plants, all of that kind of thing. But what it means is that you have these sections where there is grates hidden beneath the opaque and filthy water within the sewer. The untrained eye, or people who are not familiar with the sewer, can be taken off guard by these, and not only cause a ruckus by virtue of the sudden fall, but also risk injuring their legs somehow. You know about these things, and you know the general markings on the sewers that foresee these things. It's only when the markings have been worn away that you can't really foresee these. But this one has all of the signposts. So you happily lead Vex onto the ledge and past it. Okay. This is another fork in the road, as I have just rolled. So that basically means, once again, you either get to choose a circuitous route or a straightforward route. Ignore that I'm using route and route interchangeably. I've been ruined by my American friends.
Well, I think in this moment, Nixe considers the fact that when they first left, the military even went so hard to land the helicopter, it seems, around the manhole cover. And they didn't like it. From that, Nixe assumes that they decided to not be like, let's radio in some guys and that are already there and check if maybe they're down there. Like, they were willing to like immediately get out of the helicopter and pursue them. And so Nixe again decides to take a more secure route.
So you make the... You don't have to make the roll, or I don't make the roll, rather. You just manage to take some time away from the main path that others might stray towards, and you make your way. A few minutes later, let me see. Could you please make me a roll? This is a roll not for perception, but instead for reflexes. So if you feel that you have something to apply here, please say so.
Oh, are you kidding me? I have my fucking legs.
Oh yeah, you do actually have that upgrade, don't you?
Yeah, I have sexy fish legs.
Yes, indeed. Right, okay, in which case I will give you a +2 to this roll. Please roll. Oh, and oh, I forgot about this part of this. Vex, I do need you to roll as well. But depending on what Nixe rolls, you will get either a flat roll or a negative.
Oh, that's so mean. That's so mean.
So make me your roll, Nixe.
That's okay. We're slowly going down, like counting down, like 9, 8, 7.
So, Vex, could you please make me a flat roll?
Oh, come on.
Oh boy. So, what happens is, as you are walking down, Nixe, this is something which happens in the worst kept parts of the sewers, and unfortunately, by virtue of doing these more circuitous routes, you have ended up in some places that are a little worse for wear.
Yeah.
Sometimes the metalwork that holds up some of the fixtures, like lighting or pipes or valves, they have just rusted to such a degree that even that the wrong movements can just set them off, and you are suddenly having metal crash down upon you. You managed to move out of the way in time because this is a hazard that you've had to deal with before on a split second. Mm-hmm. Now, your movement, Vex absolutely picks up on the fact that you are moving straight away, and you just immediately know you need to move somewhere. Unfortunately, by virtue of not being able to know where you need to move, you simply move in the direction that Nixe has gone, and you simply just don't close the distance fast enough. Could you please make a roll to see what part of your body, excluding your head, this damages?
Is there...
Vex. Yeah, so 4.
It's fine. Other than my head, right? I'm like not that bad, so
Okay.
It should be all right.
So, okay. You're willing to take this one.
So what we're doing, because normally, obviously, it would be on this 7 through 10, I believe, which would select which part of the body has been hit. We're essentially just expanding all of the ranges to cover the rest of the dice as well. So I believe a 4 means that is actually going to hit your torso. So could you please take 1 damage to your torso, please? Yeah, you try and dive out of the way, and you are unfortunately met with the feeling of a jagged piece of metal jutting into your gut. By no means is it anything that's going to slow you down, as is the nature of human bodies these days. So you kind of just snap off the part which would cause a problem and leave, having been advised by Stitch in the past that it's better to just generally leave it in until you can have it addressed. It is extremely strange, Nixe, to watch Vex headlessly just eventually, snap off this piece of rusted metal, acting autonomously on her own.
I'm just gonna go over and give her a little friendly, pat down, are you good? Kind of like a little touch.
she, with one hand, she kind of grips, wincing a bit as she kind of puts pressure on the wound. With the other one, she kind of, responds by just trying to... She's kind of clumsily flailing, but essentially just trying to make sure, Nixe is still there and, making sure she doesn't lose track of her.
Yeah. Also, gonna give a quick cursory look at the dead body Vex is carrying to make sure that nothing has, disappeared in the crash.
No, the fortunate side of it is that any damage that is done to this person's flesh is of no consequence. This guy has been riddled with high caliber bullets and left to the elements. The main thing you need to keep track of is what he is holding and what he has on him, and fortunately none of that has been damaged. All that really came of it was that, some more of the dried and cracked skin is now a little bit worse for wear. Though you can tell it's now starting to rehydrate in the moisture of the sewers in a way that's eminently unpleasant.
Weird enough, I think that gives Nixe more of an that makes her being headless.
Fair.
It's like,
I don't have a nose, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
So, you continue forward. And I am going to need you to make another roll of the same kind, please.
Reflex.
Yes.
Oh, you're so mean.
You have essentially entered an incredibly rundown part of the sewers.
Yeah, no. Well, this is the choice that I made, so I will. I walked into the sewer, so I will have to lie in it. Oh God.
All right. Vex, I need you to make a roll with a -2.
God, I'm so sorry, Vex.
Don't worry about it.
How the tables have turned.
This time, rather than dodging in the same direction as Nixe, you instead feel your body move on its own as Nixe begins to react in a similar way. Again, your nerves are on such high alert that every movement from Nixe you immediately register. And you essentially do a dash backwards, kicking off of your foot to just push yourself as far backwards as quickly as possible. And that ends up being the correct decision, because Nixe, as you dash forward in order to try and avoid the falling debris, you instead find that unfortunately it's causing this cascading chain reaction of all the light fixtures and rods above you just having the weight of the previously fallen debris adding more and more, like almost like a ribbon that has been whipped to create a wave-like effect of dominoes. And you simply cannot outrun it, even with your fast legs. Eventually you find yourself with metal, brick, rock falling on you. Could you please make a D10 roll to see where gets damaged?
Fuck. 7.
That is your head. Okay. Yeah, you find yourself buried underneath the debris, and the main thing that comes out of that is that a brick that is pulled from the wall at a strange angle ends up cracking your jaw as you go down, and you feel a number of your teeth come loose and spill forward from your mouth, unable to keep seated within the jaw that has now been thoroughly shattered.
Nixe tries to stifle a groan as much as she can, because she knows that it's not the first. I think that this is definitely not the first time she's gotten hurt while trying to sneak around, so she knows that even when it hurts, shut the fuck up. So I think that... Oh, this is gonna sound weird, but I think that she's gonna kind of try and, like... Of any detached teeth and shit, she's just gonna try and kick into the debris or something just to make sure that no one can find those teeth.
I mean, absolutely fair. You have the time to do that. In the sewers, this is... I'm not going to make you roll. There is debris, there is sewage. This is not a hard place to hide something like teeth. People are going to have to know what they're looking for to try and find this as evidence of somebody passing through here. Hey gang, welcome to the break. I hope you've been enjoying this tense run back from No Man's Land. I know I certainly did. We don't have any attributions this episode, there were no prompted characters, so why don't we just get straight into the shilling? If you've been enjoying Heart of Hope and you want to hear the next episode of it right now, then you can do so over on my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. That's patreon.com/eternal_savvy. Again, that is eternal_savvy. For as little as $1, you will get that episode, and you can even support for more if you just want to be super cool and awesome. But even that $1, the smallest amount, will in fact still get you access to the next episode ahead of time. Also, if you want to find me on Twitch or Blue Sky or basically anywhere where I actually have an account on the internet, then that is going to be the same place of eternal_savvy. That includes Ko-Fi if you want to support me there rather than on Patreon, though you will not get the episode ahead of time. That's pretty much just for single-time donations if you can't afford a monthly. Also, if you're one of our fans who has been doing fan art for us, which is super cool and awesome, and I love you forever if you do that, then please feel free to tag me on Blue Sky and use the hashtag Heart of Hope. Or if you're on our Discord, then you can also just post it there instead if you prefer. And last of all, if you've been listening to this on YouTube, then it is a massive help if you would consider liking, subscribing, and commenting on the videos. If you are listening to this elsewhere, whether it be Apple Podcasts or Spotify or one of the many, many podcast apps that exist out there, then please consider downloading the episode or just using whatever rating system they provide, usually a star system, in order to rate the show what you think it's worth. It is a massive help to the discoverability, and I super appreciate anyone who does that, and I try to respond to comments where I can on the YouTube. Right, that's pretty much everything as usual, so thank you so much for listening. Let's get back to things. Bye-bye. So that is that. You have reached another fork in the road, where you have to make another choice of whether you would like to take the quick route or the safer but more role-intensive route. I will say this. Due to some rolls that have happened, you know and you can sense within you that with all of the shit that just happened, there has probably been someone who has heard or felt something happen in these sewers.
Fuck. Do you have any... I wish I could ask Vix for opinions.
Yeah, in this particular situation, I'm afraid I cannot allow you to ask for Vex's opinion.
Yeah, no, that would be incredibly difficult. Nixe is very torn right now because she's also been injured at this point. Although it's not much, but still she is a twig compared to Vex. I kind of want to continue taking the secure route. Yeah. Sorry, Iris, if that is not the choice you would have made.
It's all good.
Let me.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
You slip into, again, some of the smaller but more winding and labyrinthine parts of this sewer. Right, so, as you are walking through, you hear ahead of you the sound of jackboots slamming into the sewage and talking and commands and the harsh robot trill of their masks affecting the way they sound. And it's very clear that ahead of you, emphasized by the glimmer of their distant flashlights causing almost a sparkle against the moist brick of the sewer.
Clear.
There is military ahead. Now, I will say this.
We heard something down there.
Since you picked the more complex route, you have a bonus to anything that you are doing here in regards to hiding. But this is now the problem until you reach the next fork in the road. So the next roll is just going to be you dealing with them again.
Yeah, got
That
it.
is the toss-up that is made. With that being said, what would you like to do? There is places that you can dip into. The sewage is deep enough that you might be able to do something with that. There are parts of the sewers where the lights aren't as bright. It's up to you how you deal with this.
I had a very dumb thought that includes hiding. I can assume that since Vex does not have a head, she doesn't breathe, right?
Correct.
That means that in a part where the where the lights are a bit more dim, Nixe could hide a little more properly, and she could have Vex sort of hide along some debris and water sewage, and just lying there in the water under some debris and not have to worry about Vex drowning because she can't right now.
So
don't take this as like a discouragement or anything, but I just it's like, oh, it's fine, she can't breathe, as just raw sewage saturates my fucking head with it. Oh god.
But at least you can't drown. You
are 100% correct, and I tacitly endorse this course of action.
You
but
will
it's really
absolutely get blood poisoning, but
I'm gonna be so fucked up. Yeah.
So basically, I am just thinking of being sort of, kind of squeezing Vex's hand or something to be like, hey, we're gonna hide. And just kind of be drop down, cover her in and the dead body enough in some various debris that someone who wouldn't really look at it would be like, oh yes, there's totally a person there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
then I just scamper off somewhere where I, as a breathing person, as a breath enjoyer, would have to hide.
So, I'm gonna give Vex a +3 to hide. And next you are gonna have a +2 purely by virtue of the fact that you have decided to essentially go a little distance and ensure that you can still breathe. If you were deciding to completely submerge yourself, I'd give you a +3, but there might be
that's
something
right, I
else.
can swim.
You do have that ability, yes.
Then I would like to fucking dive into the sewage.
Okay, you both
also-
have a +3. Please make your rolls.
Well, I hate to be that person, right? But I want to ask, so are you taking the time to communicate to Vex what exactly you are doing, or are we rushing? Because the issue is, if we're rushing and you literally just shove her down in some shit and then run off, she's not gonna be trying to hide. She's gonna be fucking freaking out. I cannot see a world where she doesn't freak out at that.
I'm gonna cut in here. Fleecie, as Nixe, what was your first instinct? I'm not gonna let you reconsider here. What was Nix's first instinct?
I mean, kind of get down, hide in the water, was her first thought.
Okay.
To sort of make Vex do that.
Right. Yeah, with the consideration in mind that you can indeed swim and breathe underwater, or under sewage, I suppose, you hide out a little closer, but you are in a rush, and because of that, I'm actually going to change that +3 for Vex into a +1, because there is essentially a moment that you have to spend, when she gets up, panicking, to put your hand on her and say, hey, stay. So,
Yeah.
could you please make those rolls now?
Fuck me. Fuck me.
Now,
Fuck.
the nice thing here is that one is a 4 and means that you are within reasonable distance to try and boost it to a 6. If you can think of a reasoning to use some of your parts. I'll say this, your forearm, I believe, inherently has this support action, which means you can give yourself a +1. The question is, how do you get yourself the other +1?
A lot of Nixe's stuff is about movement. So yes, the whole thing with Vex is going to be like a little clumsy, but I can like see how instead of, you do that thing where you think out the things and then your body follows, like your body like goes along with it, with the conscious, like with your stream of thoughts, sort of.
So I'm gonna say this. What you're describing here is that you're essentially trying to use a instant move action to get to a different position, right? I cannot in good conscience say that that's just going to provide you with a +1, because that is not what it does. You would need something with a support action. That being said, what I will allow you to do instead is to use that movement to essentially re-roll, but at a different bonus. I'm going to say that it's just going to be a flat roll. And you have not technically used your support action, so if you wanted to, you could still use that to get a +1.
I'm gonna take the chance and do just that.
Alright, make that roll, please.
That's a lot better.
Okay.
It's a lot better.
Acting on instinct, you, as the footsteps come closer, you steady Vex and indicate to her that she needs to stay down, and without any more time to inform her of what needs to be done, beyond that, and trusting that she understands that she needs to stay put, your body acts on instinct, and you just fucking underwater tear down this pathway. You feel the familiar rush of water over you as you do this, and you know that you're creating some turbulence. This is no longer a matter of remaining hidden, but instead getting away in time, that they won't be able to see that there will be nothing to see. And you are fast in the water. And fortunately, you hear them passing by, and you are uniquely able to pull your head out of the water and trying desperately to stymie your breath to very slowly breathe in and out so it doesn't cause anything. And you can hear them just barely in the distance for a moment. You just hear, "Apparently there's someone in here. Make sure that we don't miss anything. Would they not just be down the shortest path? No, I don't think." And they fade away.
Yeah, no, as soon as like the voices seem to have calmed down, I am immediately getting back to Vex and like signaling her like, okay, we're good now. Get up slowly out of the water.
You move to keep going, and unfortunately the only way to keep going is down the path that they had just gone. Not going the same direction as them, but going the way they came. And you know that to some degree that is going to mean that you are risking them doubling back for some reason. And unfortunately that does seem to be the case. When they reach the end of that particular pathway, there is a fork in the road, and you see them stop, or you hear them stop and considering. There is the sound of them hitting their radio communications. There is some repetitive phrases being said, until eventually you see another flashlight being pointed down this particular pathway. You manage to make good progress, but you do note that one of them has been sent to essentially double back and check what you can only assume is the places that they did not look down, that you were just hiding in. I'm going to need both of you to, once again, state how you are hiding and make the rolls.
Come back and check. And is there like various debris and shit around this part of the path as well?
Not as such. It's more just the standard sewer at this point. If anything, you do see that there is actually a door that leads to what you can only assume to be some kind of maintenance facility. Or maintenance room.
Maintenance room. Opening that feels too risky. That could make a lot of noise. I don't know where that leads to. Or perhaps Nixe does. But I'm gonna say in this situation, she does not have the calm to think of, to remember all of the paths that well.
Vex, in this moment where Nixe has stopped because, she sees this person coming, Vex is gonna try to kind of clumsily reach over with her free arm to Nixe and try to start writing on her arm. But she's writing, her hand is shaking quite a bit and does not seem the most coordinated, so it would likely take a moment for her to write it out if she were interrupted.
Does Nixe pause to let this happen?
Nixe pauses.
Alright. I'm not going to ask you to make a roll to see if you can tell what it is. Considering what Vex just said, I would like Vex to make a roll to see if you can steady your hand. That is enough. What do you write?
She writes what's going on.
Very quickly, with a teeny bit of electricity to just make it clear, I just write one person. I am assuming that only one person is coming, right?
There is only one person coming. That is something that becomes clear to both of you all of a sudden. As you write that out, suddenly a new option just alights in both of, in your head and in her body. Is that if it's just the one person, if you give them enough distance from where they just came from, you might be able to ambush them and take them down. But it's a hell of a risk.
That is a big fucking risk, especially considering that they have a radio and the others are not far behind, and also if this person if they feel like this person is taking too long, they're gonna circle. Well, they'll circle back anyway.
I will say this. With your particular part, which is Electrigger, you would know this because this is probably a common tactic that you have used in the past. Electrigger has the very common side effect of shorting out electronics that are on someone's person. Not cybernetics. Cybernetics are insulated in such a way that they can function even when they are under some amount of stress. And it has to in order to be able to function. But something as simple, or as, that doesn't need to have as many redundancies as a walkie-talkie or a radio of any kind, that is probably likely to just fucking short out the moment you zap it.
So I am basically thinking that kind of a little bit to the side, she could make Vex lie down again, completely still. Maybe and like the moment that this person sees Vex, and maybe is gonna do that thing where they raise their radio to be like, hey, I found something. That pause, because Nixe would be hiding at that point in the water or something. At that point, Nixe uses Electrigger and then just fucking goes for it like a feral, hungry eel.
Okay. How do you communicate this to Vex?
I think I'm gonna write a quick trap on her arm and then make her lay down again.
What does Vex do?
She hesitates for a second, but then lays down.
Okay.
I just dive into the water nearby, circling in the opaque water like a shark, just fucking waiting for the moment.
Right. You lay Vex down, and then you put yourself in position to lie in wait. It takes a minute or two, but sure enough, you hear and see them stomping and trudging through the water here. And you have positioned Vex in such a way that she's not immediately visible so that he wouldn't, radio in immediately. Instead, you kind of do it so that her legs are kind of poking out from around the corner, and the body is around the corner as well. And you see as... Let me make a GM roll real quick. Yeah, he doesn't even initially register that Vex is there, which is perfect for you, because as he continues to go, it is very nearly only by virtue of the fact that his foot is caught on Vex's, but not, it doesn't happen, but he's like essentially right on top of her by the time that he recognizes, oh, there's something underneath my feet, basically. And you watch him kind of lazily pull his assault rifle around to point the flashlight that's on it at Vex and the other corpse that's there. And you hear very lightly from him a, "What the hell?" He kind of kneels down, squatting, and just kind of looks over the two bodies, and I don't know how he could possibly tell that Vex is alive, but I will make a roll just in case. Of course not. Yeah, you see him just go like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And you see him, at this point, reach to go to his radio.
Okay, so, just quick question for you then, Savvy. Because this is probably a strategy that Nixe has used before. Do you think that when it comes to, say, most people, because you said that cybernetics were insulated, could I still, with the leg trigger that I'm planning on using on the radio, also possibly, at least temporarily, make his muscles like tense up so he can't move?
So that is what the stagger statistic on that represents. When I say it's insulated, I don't mean that it is immune to it. I mean that it is exempt from being fried, essentially. So
yeah, I don't care about frying any cybernetics of his.
Yeah.
I want to hopefully destroy the radio immediately.
Okay.
And then make him tense up. And then as he is tensing up, well, I have some lovely spikes on my forearms. Could
you please make me a... Yeah, no, I'm just going to give you a +1 from the fact that you were surprising him. And yeah, make that roll.
Oh no.
So, you can support one with your arms, but other than that...
I have a fucky way I could try to support. However, it would be entirely your discretion if it actually worked, Sav. Because here's the thing, right? If, and of course this is your choice, if he were to, as he is going for his radio, reach down and like, if he either touch Vex directly or like nudge her with a boot or something, I feel like she would use her, forearm to try to, like, grab towards him suddenly. Because, in Vex's mind, trap could mean a lot of things, but it could be that, this is someone she needs to ambush, or it could just be Nixe trying to get her attention. Either way, I think she'd grab towards him and potentially, like, totally fucking surprise him to the point where... Nixe gets that additional 1 she needs.
Alright.
Yeah, I never explained to her what the trap entailed.
That makes enough sense to me that I will give that one to you. So, you do that, and through the combination of you essentially startling the fuck out of him because this headless fucking corpse just moved to go towards him, he's just like, he just straight up nearly falls onto his ass, and by virtue of him kind of going backwards, your preemptive attack, which wouldn't have hit before, you manage to just manage to grasp him and with your arm and drive your knee into him, with your leg being where you house the most potent of your electrical cybernetics. And with that planting of your knee into his back, you You watch the familiar sight that you've seen a number of times of him convulsing, and you see that his hand, which was wrapped around the radio, just sputters and sparks, and it is gone. The interesting thing about your particular your particular upgrades is that Electriga does spark and create arcs when you are not in direct contact, but you are fully in contact with him and there is no lightning anywhere to be seen.
Alright, with that being said, let's begin combat.